Rudy Gobert Cat coming back on Thursday. You've gone back to Utah, after being there for a long time, and remember what that's like. What do you think that experience is going to be like for him coming back to Minnesota?
I think it should be an emotional moment for him. And I remember we both did 9 years, so I did 9 years in Utah, and he had 9 years in Minnesota. And I remember my first time coming back was pretty special. So obviously, I think it's going to be emotional for him, but I also think it's going to be, there's always a little extra motivation coming into those games, so it should be a cool moment for him.
What is it like just kind of walking back into a building that you spent so much time at, seeing faces that you saw for so many years, and
For me, it felt really weird.
Yeah.
Like seeing some part of the building that I had never seen before. Being so used to that routine of walking in, going to a locker room, and going to the areas when we go to at home. But coming from being on the road, that experience is always different. So I remember the first time I was like, oh, this is how the locker room looks like, and and it was weird for me not to keep going to the end of the tunnel.
What was it like? Because I think you guys you returning to Utah, probably like Carl coming back here, where it's just going to be appreciation from fans. Like, there's no reason for any ill will, or anything. Like, you didn't pick your own. Like, so what is it like receiving that love and admiration? I guess that you experienced when you're there, but like seeing it again when you come back.
I mean, it's beyond basketball. I think Cat's done some cool things for the community here also. For me in Utah, it was more about that than the basketball. I mean, you gave your blood, sweat, and tears to the organization for many, many years. But it's also, the community. Like for me, similarity, like a community that embraced me, a team that embraced me. And all the great people, like the staff, the people from the arena, the people from the community, that I kind of like watched you grow over the years, watch you evolve as a man, as a player. It's a lot of memories, a lot of ups and downs of being part of an NBA team, NBA organizations. It's a lot of memories, and it makes you also always realize that nothing lasts forever. That was the one thing for me, like walking. I was like, you never know when. Sometimes you can feel it, but most of the time you never know when it's going to be the last season playing with this guy, the last season playing in this building. So pushes you to appreciate every moment.
Rudy, you watch you and Julius play together now as it moves on, and it looks like you guys are getting more connected every game because he took Carl's place, and you have to play off each other so much. How is that going defensively and offensively, and what's that process like?
I mean, it's always it's a learning process. Chemistry takes going through the fire together, and and we've been getting better and better. Try to really. Getting better at finding ways to space for him, to know how to get him open, to know, his tendencies, what he likes to do with the ball, without the ball. Try to help him maximize who he is as a player, and defensively, just for me, and that's the same with all my teammates. It's just communication and kind of like staying on them a little bit about competing and the urgency that we need to have every single possession on the floor.
Rudy, last year you and Carl kind of could interchange. He was like guarding the center, and you would roam sometimes. One, how valuable was it to have that in your bag last year? And then two, it seems like that's happened the last couple games against Davis and Wembanyama, where Julius has kind of taken that a little bit. Like, is that something that's important to have?
For sure. I mean, it's important to have size, and Julius is a big body, so we know that he can hold his own, on the post and on the boards against probably anyone in this league. So usually it's good to be able to have the flexibility to give teams a different look, throw them off a little bit, and then go with the flow of how things go. A lot of times I'm going to end up getting back to the main guy, like Wemby, like we did in the second half against the Spurs. Or sometimes if it's really, really working and and they're not finding any solutions, stay the way it works.
Do you have any preference?
No, not really. I mean, for me, it's I love challenges, obviously. So if the guy really start getting going, I'm going to say I want him. But if it's a team game, so if as a team we're having success, that means we're doing something right.
When you first got here, I guess, just how appreciative were you of what Carl greeting you here and making the combination of these switching positions and kind of doing everything he could to make that work?
It's been amazing. Always from day one, always told me like whatever I need, he was always there for me, and then really made it fun, for me to get here in a new organization. We started really connecting really well outside of the floor also, and I felt like he really truly wanted to see me happy and see me succeed, and obviously that carries over to the team, right? When your teammates want to see you succeed, that you can fit in the locker room, you can fit in on the floor. So that's really what I felt, from day one, and even, we went through some adversity, we went through some growing pains as a team. The fact that we cared about one another as persons, I think that's what allowed us to come back and be even better the next year, and did what we did.
Rudy, last time we had you at practice, you were talking about Rudy's kids. This week, Jaden did a charity event. There's a couple other players on the team doing charity events. Just how important is that for like a team's chemistry, knowing that everyone's giving back?
I think it's huge. I think it shows. I always say the more you give, the more people you inspire, and the more you receive in a way. The more love you give, the more love you receive, and it's always important, for us as role models, whether you have a good game, a bad game, that there's a kid somewhere looking up to you, and always taking the time to do things, to help these communities. It shows that you're there for them, and then it, it's kind of like a virtuous circle when those kids then gonna be, when they get older, they're gonna do the same, and it makes the world a better place.
You and Jaden and Anthony are also fathers for the first time this year. Do you guys exchanging a lot of infant lessons or advice to each other?
Oh yeah, we talk. It's funny when we have conversations about the things that we all kind of like go through.
Getting up in the middle of the night to change them.
I'm grateful that I have a great partner that does that. But getting up in the middle of the night sometimes, all these things. It's really it's a blessing, but it's also it's also challenging. But it's the beauty of it, and be able to. For me, I'm a nutritionist, so be able to tell them what the things that I do for my son in terms of nutrition and things like that, or like they give me advice on some other things, So it's cool that we all kind of like had the same thing happen around the same span of time.
You talked about Carl building that connection. What was it about his personality and getting to know him on a day-to-day basis that you most enjoyed just about like being around him every day? Why did you connect so well, you think?
I don't know. I think just wanting to get to know each other, and also we realized that there was a lot of things that we both like to do outside the court. So like Kat like playing Call of Duty, so we playing Call of Duty together. He was actually watching anime, so we talk about anime, shit like that. Talk about business. Talk about a lot of stuff. And Kat is a very curious person, so. We talk about a lot of things, and it was cool.